Please go ahead. We are live now.
Good afternoon, everyone. Let's commence with the webinar. I would like to introduce our guest of eminent speakers today, Mr. Rajesh and Mr. Aditya Sahu and Ms. Bhavna Mittal and Ms. Jyoti Chauhan, who will be joining us and giving their valuable speeches here. I would like to introduce about Lovely Professional University. Lovely Professional University is a private university which is among the top 200 of the global impact ranking and also among the top 25 universities with ICAR ranking in agriculture. Being the first being the first in 25 institutes ranked for promoting innovation and entrepreneurship by MHRD government, the university has filed more than 1,000 patent applications. It has both national as well as international patents, out of which we have 27 granted ones and more to come. Not only the patents, the university also holds a good number of copyright and design registration grantings. The university has a strong infrastructure to support innovation, to motivate and guide the students accordingly. I would like to welcome ASSOCHAM, which is a non-governmental organization that established the bridge between the academy and industry. Though it is in initiative taken in the last 100 years, it has established itself as one of the premier institutes of the policy recommendations for social, economic, and industrial growth. And now today's webinar is an initiative conducted by ASSOCHAM. It is a boot camp for intellectual property under the theme Nurturing Young Innovators, Incubators and Entrepreneurs, under which a webinar is organized to create appropriate awareness regarding the need of the knowledge of IP, especially among the students and faculties of education institutes, startups and incubators. This idea is to make the young minds curious about IPRs and encourage the creativity in individuals from various ages, especially the youngsters. We would like to thank ASSOCHAM for taking this initiative to enlighten the students about intellectual property rights, innovation, and entrepreneurship. Now I would like to welcome Mr. Rajesh to provide his speech, as well as Mr.
Good morning, everyone.
Aditya Saha. Mr. Rajesh is an experienced IPR professional and has been better for the past 20-year career, dedicated his life for offering sincere, focused, and dedicated IPR solutions to a diverse client base. He has worked with many startups, medium-sized entrepreneurs, and large corporate organizations, and the mark he has always left is that committed to quality, excellence, and professionalism. His proven ability to make firms see an upsurge in productivity using robust, reliable, and tailor-made IPR solutions had made him the right professional to consult for firms that are looking forward to establish reliable short, medium, and long-term investment plan. I would like to welcome Mr. Aditya Saha. With over 10 years of experience as an engineer, intellectual property professional, certified mediator, and entrepreneur, Mr. Aditya has experience in the area of mediation, intellectual property subject matters, telecommunication, electronics, and semiconductors. He has a bachelor's in electronics and telecommunication engineering and also possesses a master's in intellectual property right, specializing in patent, trademark, copyright, and industrial design. He has offered his consulting service to various groups, firms, companies, some of which these include not only to architects, designers, doctors, and engineers and inventors. He has also consulted top corporations, MSMEs, small and medium entrepreneurs, and firms in relation to various scopes of issues. We welcome you, sir. And now let's begin with their speeches.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning,
Can I
sir.
start?
Yes, sir.
Excellent, excellent. So I hope everyone can see the screen.
Yes, it is visible.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And I thank ASSOCHAM for giving an opportunity. Before I start, I would like to start with a small story. I got to know from the college students from engineering science background, you're going to complete your third, fourth, fifth years. So after that, when you start your career or business, I know there are a lot of new entrepreneurs going to enter into. I would like to give a small suggestion, right? When you get into entrepreneurship, focus on a core area where you like and where maybe your passion. Okay, work for that particular industry for minimum 3 years to gain knowledge about it and gain an experience about it and mastering that particular subject, and you start. A simple example I would like to give you that WhatsApp. Why the WhatsApp is so popular? Now we can say that the life after WhatsApp or before WhatsApp. It's a simple solution for various things. Like before WhatsApp, for sharing a video or sharing a data, it's not that easy. But WhatsApp made our life very easy for good or bad. So it's a beautiful solution and very simple to use it. So it is more popular and more successful. So come out with a solution which is it's going to help the market and public. Okay, and when you enter into business or a career, you should have a attitude of don't give up attitude. Like a small story about Thomas Alva Edison, he was trying to invent a storage battery. So the electricity, he felt that electricity is there, but there should be a storage for it. He's working on storage. So he did a lot of research. He failed more than 10,000 or 10,000 times. A reporter asked him, being a very successful and a popular scientist, what do you feel about the failure? And he said that failure, what do you mean by? I learned 10,000 times how the battery will not function. That is the attitude of not giving. Another instance, so he do a lot of research. You know that scientists, they keep a lot of records and manuals and whatever they do research, they make a point of it. It's a huge records in this research in center. One fine day it got fire. The fire is going on, it's unstoppable, they couldn't control it. Einstein was sitting outside that area, is looking at that. He's just observing how it get fired. His son asked him that. Dad, you did a lot of research, all your records are getting burned. What do you feel about it? He said, all the mistake what I did, it is getting burned. That is an attitude, my guys. Have a don't give up attitude to success in life. Get back to the presentation. I'm representing a company called BizRights IP Partners. We are specialized in the field of intellectual property rights. BizRights started, it's a baby, like 5 years old baby. We have a presence in 5 cities. We are serving more than 600 plus clients, filed more than 3,000 plus application. We have a presence in 5 continents. And we have a little bit of awards from Pride of Telangana. We are a knowledge partner for Telangana Knowledge Scale, and we have. So we are talking about intellectual property rights. Along with me, Mr. Aditya Saha. He is specialist in patent. He is going to take over during the presentation. Let me start about intellectual property rights. Under intellectual property rights, we have various things like patent, trademark, copyright, industrial design, geographical indication, semiconductor design, and trade secrets. I'll just run through one by one. You know about intellectual property. See, a property, a land or car, it is a tangible asset. Intangible is called intellectual property. We are talking about intangible asset today. So let me start with trademark. See, you build a business with a brand. Okay, so the brand name or the logo, it's an identity to the public to know that, okay, this is the product, have a quality, or it create a goodwill into the market. To have an identification, you create a brand. Okay, so the brand on the logo can be protected under Trademark Act. Like example, you know a popular brand of iPhone. It is for mobile. If someone launch a mobile with a brand Onion, will you buy it? You may not. The reason being you don't know about it or you don't have trust on it. How the trust build the during of quality of the product, the service, the presence of market, all right, various facts. To establish it, it need a lot of hard work and effort and consistency on giving us the quality. So based on that, the brand will be established. Once you have a strong brand, it can be registered under trademark. Once it is registered, it is a valuable asset for a company. Okay, you can see a symbol of a TM top of your brand, many of the brand, or SM in the service industry, they use SM. It's an indication that the brand is applied for trademark. You can, when you see R, it means they are the registered owner for a particular mark, and they have right, ownership for 10 years, and every 10 years they renewal it. A success story of brand I would like to establish that Flipkart. See, the Flipkart, how it's established, like 2007, they've started selling a book. Surprise news from the first buyer of Flipkart product from Mehboob Nagar. He purchased a book. Okay, then in 2010, they started developing cash on delivery and logistic and 30-day within return policy. So it is expanded. In the year 2018, the brand took over by Walmart for 16 billion US dollars. Out of 16 billion US dollars, 4.7 billion is for their brand rights. You can imagine how important is a brand. It is for any business or any company, the brand plays a major role. See, you can see here, Flipkart took over by Walmart for 16 billion, 4.7, around 30% of the value goes on the brand. Okay, see, suddenly, like example, the brand established by Flipkart, suddenly they change to something else tomorrow. Definitely, you may not know or you may not buy anything, right? So the brand plays a major role in any business. It is not only developing, you need to protect well, you need to own it. Or else what will happen that you have a land, if you don't register, there won't be value, right? Similarly, if you have a brand, if you don't register or protect it, there won't be any value for it. Okay, so when you start your business, identify a right brand. I'll guide you to choose, to choose a right brand. Okay, once you identify, you need to apply and get ownership on it. Okay, when you start a business, you need to choose a right brand. Okay, keep it in your mind that the brand should be easy to remember. You should not use a very complicated name which will be a tongue twister. Choose a very simple and unique name which is easy to remember or easy to pronounce, and it can be related to your product or service, or more importantly, it should be your own. It should be original. Then under trademark, there are various kind of types of trademarks. Let's say start with fanciful trademark. Fanciful trademark is nothing but there won't be any dictionary meaning for it. Like a name, a combination of a mark, like Infosys, it is combination of information and system. There's no dictionary meaning for it. Likewise, Wipro. Wipro from Western India product. It is derived from Western India product. Wipro. There's no meaning for Wipro, but in globe only one Wipro exists because it is coined or it is fanciful name. You try to come out on a name which is unique in nature or which is invented or coined by you. Okay, there should not be any meaning for it. It would be a strongest brand for you. And arbitrary name, like a brand, it should not express the product. Like example, Apple. Apple is good for mobile or tech. There's no connection between Apple and the tech, but it is an arbitrary name. Suppose if you are having a brand Apple to sell an Apple, it is not going to be a good brand for you. Like another example, that if you're selling a packaged drinking water, you cannot brand as water or drink, right? So, and next, suggestive marks. See, the suggestive mark can be a suggestive of goods or service. Okay, but it should not describe the product. Like if I'm coming out of the brand, like example, Fresh Look for a beauty salon, it's fine to have it. It is not directly describing the product or service, but it is suggesting that fresh look, right? So that is called suggestive mark. And descriptive what I said exactly. The brand should not describe the nature of products or services. I cannot come out with a brand drive for taxi, right? Or as I said, water for packaged drinking water, or drink for packaged drinking water. And the generic marks like Camel for stationery is good to go. Prestige for home appliances or construction is good to go. And in between, if you have any doubt, you can ask or raise. And there are various types of application can be processed under Trademark Act. Like a word can be protected. Word like KFC is a registered trademark. No one can use the word KFC with adding prefix or suffix or similar to that. And logo, you can see Karachi Bakery, the font style and visual presentation of the brand is protected. Also numerals like 7-Eleven. It's a popular brand across world. The numerals also protected. Likewise, 555, another example. And captions like have a break, a Kit Kat. Have a Kit Kat. It's a caption. Or believe in the best, BPL. Those captions also can be registered under trademark. And it will be valid for 10 years. Every 10 years, we have to renew it. And there is an option to chat, like it can be an interactive. Can you guess there is a brand inside the word on your own? Can anyone can chat or unmute your mic and say about? Oh, you're there or I'm alone? Okay. See, Oyo, the brand, it is from on your own. Okay, it is a coin name again. So another question like there is a brand in San Francisco. Anyone can guess? Fine. This is a brand, Cisco. The two of the partners started the company Cisco in San Francisco. They named it from Cisco from San Francisco. So come out with a brand which is unique in nature. So you can see one brand, it is across globe. There's no other mark of Cisco. Only one person is, they have a monopoly rights on the brand. And if you don't register, what will happen? If you are in Hyderabad, you well know about two brands. One is vegetarian Santosh Dhaba and non-vegetarian Bawarchi. People are copying left, side, center, and straight, right? And there'll be a lot of copycats in the market. Every street and corner you find one Santosh Dhaba with some prefix of Bajaj Santosh Dhaba or Green Santosh Dhaba. What else? Sri Santosh Dhaba. And also I found original Santosh Dhaba. Okay, another mark is Bawarchi. It is very popular, like second generation. They may not know which is the original Bawarchi. You see only green Bawarchi or all the combination of Bawarchis. So if you have a brand, if you establish a brand, it need to be protected well. It need to be registered. It need to own it. It is not only you got registration, it is not safeguarded. See, if you have a land, you register it and you keep a fencing and protect it. Similarly, you need to protect. You need to take all the steps to protect your brand. Every company will be having a department to maintain and manage the trademarks. So I'll share my stage to Mr. Aditya Saha. Mr. Aditya, can you please take over for this patent?
Thank you, Mr. Rajesh. Good afternoon, everyone. I thank ASSOCHAM and lovely Professional University for giving us this opportunity to share our knowledge with you. Well, I was always so fascinated with innovations. And as you know, necessity is the mother of all inventions. And most of the inventions have come from this requirement of a particular solution or a product. And these products, solutions, or innovations are protected by a patent. Now, the question is, what is a patent? Now, patent is basically a government right given by the government of that country for a specific term to any inventor or an applicant to prevent others from using that particular invention. Now, you may ask why the government gives such a right. Now, the thing is, any innovator or a scientist, they work for a couple of years, or throughout their life to come to a solution or to find out a unique solution to a problem. The government gives this monopoly right to an individual so that that individual, in return for the exchange of the information or the innovation, can get a specific term of 20 years so that they can exploit that particular invention commercially. That is why a patent rights are given by the government of India. And the period is 20 years. Now, 20 years is the validity of the patent from the filing date or the priority date, whichever is earlier. And this grant of patent is given in return for disclosure of the invention to the public. Now, coming to the legal requirements for a patent. What are the legal requirements for getting a grant of a patent? The first one is novelty. The invention which you are submitting for getting a grant of a patent should have innovativeness, should be new, should be novel across the world and not just in India. This is a very important point which you have to keep in mind whenever we are thinking about some new solutions. Second, it should have an industrial application. And third, which is quite debatable in the patent office, is the non-obvious nature. Now, what does this mean by a non-obviousness nature? For example, an invention may be obvious to someone. Say, for example, an invention is related to a telecom industry. Now, that particular solution or patent may be relatable to a person who is an engineer or who has worked in telecom or software, but it may not be obvious to a person who is in the field of creativity or arts or drawing. So it's very important, like what is obvious and what is not obvious. So we have to satisfy even this particular requirement. Now, coming to what can be patented. Now, there are numerous things which can be patented, such as machines, electronics, compositions, processes, methods, pharmaceuticals, chemicals, and products. Who can apply for a patent? Now, scientists, students, education institutes, designers, individuals, inventors, entrepreneurs, companies, and startups, they can apply for a patent. Now, if you see here, we have given certain examples of how a patent looks like. Now, we have given some examples which shows the patent drawings. On the left-hand side, you can see the water tap. It's a very old patent from 1919. So you can see how the water tap is properly described with numbers and what everything signifies here. The middle patent is from 1898. This is of a patent of a revolver. You can see how each component of the revolver is properly described and numbered. And the third one, at the extreme right, we have a patent from 1944 that is of the sewing machine. So you can see how every product, we have given here examples of products from different industry, how every product has been patented once. And here, to give you an idea, now of course, lovely professional university have already been in the top of the game of filing patents in India. They have already filed a number of patents, and these are just to give you an idea the kind of institutes which are filing number of patents in India, like Indian Institute of Technologies, lovely professional university, Chandigarh University, MIT University, so forth and so on. I think that's it from my side.
Yeah, Mr. Aditya,
over to you, Mr. Rajesh.
Story of Coca-Cola. That will be interesting for the students.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So one more interesting story is the Coca-Cola story. And okay, before going to the Coca-Cola story, as most of you are from the technology background, I would like to give you an understanding what kind of patents you can think of, like what kind of technologies you can think of working on. Like, say, for example, if someone is from the aerospace engineering, they can, think of filing patents or innovations on aerospace design, and how the uh, working on designs for the aeroplanes and various other systems and methods which are used in making an aeroplane. So those are few things or technologies where you can look into creating new solutions. Then people from civil engineering, they can always work on uh, finding out solutions for uh, the cement technology, and that goes also for the chemical engineering students. So like this, there are multiple ways on how you can come out with unique solutions in various engineering uh, streams. Now coming to the Coca-Cola story, now Coca-Cola is more than 150 years old company. It was founded by two brothers. Now they were already selling Coca-Cola in bottles, and they wanted to come out with a solution in wherein they can ship Coca-Cola across all the countries in a much convenient way. So they wanted to come out with the uh, system of shipping Coca-Cola in cans. Now they were facing a huge problem with the can system, is that they did not have any particular opening for the can. They were not having a particular device for opening the Coca-Cola can. Now the two brothers, they had gone to a mechanical engineering exhibition in Germany. There they found out a very small device, which was of course patented by a German engineer. Now that particular opening was already patented by this German engineer. And this German engineer was approached by the Coca-Cola brothers in order to sell that particular patent or the technology to Coca-Cola. Now the German engineer did not agree to it. What he did was he offered to license his patent to the Coca-Cola brothers. And after much negotiation, they came to a conclusion that the Coca-Cola brothers are going to pay 1 cent per can sold worldwide. So if you adjust the inflation rate in today's time, because that's almost some 80, 90 years ago, that individual ended up earning almost 90 lakhs to 1 crore per day for the next 20 years. So this is just one story, but it highlights the importance of registering your innovations. Is very important. Now there are numerous other stories. We'll take it some other time, but this is one story, which gives you an understanding how patents are commercially viable and is very important for a scientist or innovator to protect their technologies. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Aditya. It's a great insight, and it's my favorite story again and again. See, that's create a lot of importance how the innovation to be protected, and whatever product you see surrounding, like fan, switches, or TV, or laptop, computer. Once upon a time, everything was patented and it is encashed. So having a mindset to create something unique and new with your own, and give a solution to the public. So another part of in the IP is industrial design. Apart from trademark and patent, another part, a very important part, is the shape or aesthetic shape of the product. Coca-Cola bottle, it is so popular, one of the most popular industrial design application. If you see a Coca-Cola bottle or Kinley bottle or Aquafina bottle, without seeing the label, you can able to easily identify, oh, this is Kinley, or this is Aquafina, or this is Tupperware. The outer shape of the product, it is not only for bottle, anything, even a pen design can be registered under Industrial Design Act. Or if you are designing a furniture, you have every scope of having an industrial design for the particular shape of the product with a novelty. And design valid for 10 years, and you can extend 5 more years of renewal. So patent life is for 20 years. After 20 years, it is for public. And industrial design for 10 years, and 5 more years you can able to extend it. Then it will go for public. So always we say that patent life is for as like a banana life, right? It close quickly, so that you need to encash it. Like example, Samsung invented screen. So they don't restrict. I mean, they say that, okay, they give a manufacturing license to Dell or HP to manufacture so that they encash early as possible. So this is one of, industrial design application filed way back 1951 for beer mug. It's interesting. This mug is protected at the time, and Harley Davidson bike design, and you can see Mr. Steve Jobs' signature in the iPhone design. So industrial design also important IP. So when you file more and more IP, if you have a company or individual, your profile will be more beautiful and more effective. Even you can see the good day you would have had, you may have every day, but this smiley curve is protected under Industrial Design Act. Similarly, as I'm mentioning about Coca-Cola bottle or the chocolate design, so any unique design with aesthetic sale can be protected under industrial design. Another industrial interesting stuff is for geographical indication. Any product which is very popular from a particular place, this can be a geographical indication. Like Tirupati Laddu, it's under the process, and Hyderabadi Biryani, Hyderabadi Halim. This is for a group of people, group of association, a group of a farmer to promote their particular place. Like Darjeeling, it is so popular for tea. The reason behind the water or climate, they have a flavor or they have a quality in it. So if any tourists, they check what is GA in India. So they tend to buy the product which is GA mark. So this ownership for a particular association, not for any individual, like group of farmers or group of skilled workers, right? Like example, Kanchipuram silk, it is protected under, Pochambali silk is protected under GA mark. So if you find in your place something is very popular, you can encourage those group of people to have a GA. Once it is a GA tag, that the particular product will be looked by a global tourist player, so that a lot of opportunity to develop or sell their products in the market, like how we have Scotch whiskey or many of them. So next point is about the copyright. Any creative work in the form of material can be copyrighted. Like you're writing a book, go for copyright. If you're designing a website or if you're writing a content, go for copyright. Or you're taking a picture, you feel it need to be protected, you can go for copyright. And any recording, cinematography, or you're recording a music. So any form of material can be protected under Copyright Act. As per copyright, once you develop some content or when you create, from the date of publication, your publication with any medium, from the date of publication, you have copyrights with you. It is an auto rights. But still, to create a prima facie evidence, there is a provision to have registered under Copyright Authority, Delhi. So validity of copyright is 60 plus, depends on subject to matters. And as I said, you can have any creative can be protected under Copyright Act. And so even software applications can be protected under Copyright Act. And one more point I would like to cover, well-known marks. Well-known marks, which is something which create a secondary meaning. If I say surf, I don't need to explain what is that product about. You know what is surf. Or if I say Pepsi, I don't need to express, is it a cool drink? It is a cool drink. So no, I know it. Because the brand created the secondary meaning in the market with huge amount of advertising, marketing, brand promotion, and many years they are into the field. So those brands falls under well-known brand category, like Tata. They're into all the industries. It became a well-known brand. So any well-known brand, so you cannot use that well-known, somebody should not use it. They have every right to take action against it. Hopefully we have covered all the little bit of IP in all the angles. Thank you very much for giving an opportunity. Thank you so much. If you have any question, we can take it now or later. Over to Kirti or.
Thank you, Rajesh sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Aditya sir, for such a wonderful speech. Now I would like to invite Ms. Bhavna Mittal She's currently serving as program manager in IPF. With BIRAC, responsible for patent research and analysis for the research proposal submitted for funding support of BIRAC. She has master's degree in pharmacy from Punjabi University, Patiala, with more than 9 years of experience in academics and R&D activities in various organizations, including DPSRU and ST College of Pharmacy. She is technically skilled to carry out patentability analysis, drafting patent applications related to pharma sciences, life sciences, herbals research, and biotechnology innovation. We welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you so much for the warm welcome, Dwarka. Let me tell all of you, you were telling I had worked with BIRAC. BIRAC is Biotechnology Industry Research Innovation Council, Research Assistance Council, under which we can file our proposals, research proposal for getting a funding grant. So let me start with my presentation. Actually, I wanted to know from all of you that do you have an idea that can you have an IP right on any idea, or you have to express that? Everyone is telling me. I guess idea is something which is just rough hypothesis. Okay. Although my presentation is related to some other activities, but right now I want to first of all differentiate between idea and expression. You can get IP right over both of them, but only in the express form you can get a copyright on that. And if you have idea only and you want to have a IP right on it, you can file a provisional patent application with that. So let me brief you people with my talk. Let me share my presentation. Can you see it?
Not yet, ma'am.
Not yet.
It's visible, ma'am.
It's visible in full screen
Yes,
mode?
ma'am. No, ma'am, not on full screen. You have to make it
Okay.
on full screen.
Okay, okay. Now is it visible?
Yes, ma'am. It's on full screen mode.
Thank you. Thank you so much. First of all, I would like to congratulate Lovely Professional University, although they are very on the top rankers of patent filing in India, but they have arranged a webinar for the interaction of ASSOCHAM with the Lovely Professional University. So I am just going to brief you about what is our ASSOCHAM IP Bootcamp is. ASSOCHAM IP Bootcamp is being organized by ASSOCHAM IPFC. It provides an opportunity to innovators to resolve all their queries related to intellectual property rights in one-on-one mentoring session with IP experts. So you must be thinking, what do you gain from this IP Bootcamp? IP Bootcamp will provide counseling as well as advisory for the IP identification, protection, and strategic use in day-to-day business to achieve business excellence as well as to gain a competitive advantage. Who can apply for this IP Bootcamp? Any individual innovators, any startup, any MSME, or any budding entrepreneur. Startup is also a budding entrepreneur. So any academia, researcher, scientist, professor, students can come to us, can have a guidance on their intellectual property rights or how to strategize the intellectual property right registration, filing, everything. So you must be thinking, what is the cost? Bootcamp is pro bono. It's free of cost. You need not to pay anything for the counseling services, but if you want to avail the patent filing services or trademark registration services or any other kind of services, so then you have to pay accordingly. But counseling services and advocacy services are free of cost. What are our domains? Our domain consists of life sciences, healthcare, diagnostics, medical devices, drugs, vaccines. There are various students, number of students in the attendees who are from pharmaceutical background. So there are a lot of fields you can consult to us: industrial biotechnology, drug formulations and delivery system, medical biotechnology, nanobiotechnology, herbal research, agriculture, pesticide, fertilizers, chemical, petrochemicals, everything related to I should say biotechnology, life sciences, pharmaceutical factor, chemical, agriculture, waste management. You can come to us, you can ask from us, you can we will sign a confidential non confidential agreement with you. Your things will not be disclosed to anyone. Before having a discussion with you, we will sign the non-confidential agreement so that your information will be confidential with us. How to get admitted? This is a fortnightly, means after 15 days we have a session with all the innovators we select out of the registrants. The registration is required. You can come to us. We will give an appointment to 5 innovators every 15 days, and we will consult them, and we'll make a IP filing strategy for them, and we'll guide you whatever IP right you can have on first time, or with the limited budget, then you can file for another one. So this is a kind of strategy we can make for you. So what are the gains for from this ASSOCHAM IP bootcamp? It is to identify and protect your IP assets. Someone was asking in the chat box that how can we file a patent application? So we can guide you for that also, although I will explain in my presentation also further. One-on-one interaction with IP expert. You will be, and there is a team with the ASSOCHAM IPFC who is having a lot of IP experts from the IP domain. Like one of our panelists is Ms. Jyoti Chauhan. She is having a vast experience in IP field. So we can consult to them. So you can strategize your IP filing, and we can guide you for IP protection with limited budget and resources. Most of the students and startup owners are having a problem with their with their financial crunch. They are having a lot of problems related to their finance, and then they think that, oh, if I had to file for a patent, then I had to spend a lot of money, which is not a real case. Government is providing a lot of facilitation for IP filing, even startup also, for everything, for trademark, for patent application, for copyright, everything they are providing facilitation. So if you will be aware, only then you can avail that resources. So this is a session to make you aware about your IP rights, about the every kind of assistance you can be provided with. Any other query related to IP? If you have any other query related to your IP right, your IP asset, you can consult to us. What are the objective of our ASSOCHAM IPFC? IPFC, let me tell you, Intellectual Property Facilitation Center. So we used to facilitate the intellectual property of many stakeholders. We used to provide the strategic policy and advocacy. We used to increase the awareness about the role of intellectual property in today's knowledge economy. Let me tell you one thing. Actually, sometimes students used to think that, oh, why I should get aware of these intellectual property rights. I'm not going to do the research or EAO. So whenever we used to call it as a legal right. So awareness is also important. Let me tell you one example. If you cross, you jump a red light, can you tell a traffic policeman that, oh, I don't know that I should not jump the red light? You should be aware of that, no? You cannot cross that line. So these are the legal rights intellectual property which are commonly used in every day-to-day business, day-to-day daily system. So you should not infringe others' rights also. So you should be aware of your IP rights as well as others' IP rights. We used to provide services such as IP protection, counseling, as well as advisory services. We used to handhold our MSME for identifying their intellectual property right, and we used to assist them for their business excellence. We used to provide MSME the strategic management of their technology as well as IPR. To enable MSME from states in understanding, identifying, and use intellectual property rights for building competitive advantage. These are kind of services we used to provide. IP awareness, right now we are doing IP analytics, IPR registration and prosecution, IPR policy and strategy, IPR commercialization. We are having a lot of database for MSME where you can commercialize your inventions. Capacity building, IP pre-diagnosis, and IP portfolio management. I'll not go into the detail. However, these first three portions are very much related to your organization as well as your streams. These are our service sectors where we used to provide our services: MSME, startups, incubation centers, individual innovators, as well as university setups. So what are our IPR activities? Although we used to do a lot of IPR activities, but here due to time constraint, I have taken out only 2 or 3 activities. ASSOCHAM's Intellectual Property Rights Cell is one of the important council which takes care of many initiatives like workshops, seminar, conferences for awareness of IPR. So ASSOCHAM is organizing IPR awareness programs every year with different stakeholders. Like we are going to have one of the webinar with the L2 Pro on pan India level, and then we are also planning a webinar with one of our incubator. So we used to carry out with different programs with the different stakeholders like MSMEs, startups, enforcement agencies, innovation centers, and academic institutions. So one of our such program is L2 Pro. L2 Pro is full form of L2 Pro is Learn to Protect. Learn to protect, secure, and maximize your innovation. It has been designed to educate Indian startup ecosystems, micro, small, and medium enterprises, and innovators on the fundamentals of their intellectual property. All that information we are giving you right now, or you must have had before also. These all is compiled up in one of this portal, which is a free of cost portal, which is launched by DPIIT. So Learn to Protect is IP e-learning platform, has been designed to educate Indian startups and MSMEs for their fundamentals on intellectual property rights. The L2 Pro e-learning solution was launched on October 14, 2019 by Secretary DPIIT, Executive Vice President Qualcomm, and Vice Chancellor of NLU Delhi. So this is a collaborative project to make our young innovators or our startups, MSME aware of their intellectual property rights and how to commercialize, how to use these IP rights for their benefits. So this L2 Pro IP e-learning platform consists of 11 modules which are based on the level of knowledge. They are distributed into 3 levels: basic, intermediate, as well as advanced. Basic consists of 4 lessons which consist general introduction, patents, then trademarks, geographical indications, then copyrights and neighboring rights, industrial designs. Here you can say in the L2 Pro, you can have a wide range of IP rights. Even you will be having a detail of the IP rights which are called something else in another continents, in another territories. Like in Indian Patent Act, we used to say that unfair competition is not there. We used to register the design, but in US you are having a design patent too. They are having utility model. So there are something different kind of IP rights with different territories. So you can have the detail all the details in the L2 Pro IP e-learning platform. So then coming down to the unfair competition, trade secrets, like sir was saying, I'm sorry, Mr. Rajesh was saying about the Coca-Cola case. That comes under the trade secret. They have kept their formula secret from, I think from a lot of many years, they have kept it a secret. Plant variety protection. Then coming to the intermediate level, now you are having a knowledge of fundamentals of your IP rights. Now how you implement this to secure your business, to commercialize your IP rights. So these is intermediate level is filing and acquisition of IP. Someone was asking for patent filing. So this is the chapter lesson which is related to you, filing and acquisition of IP. You will have all the details related to fees, related to startup facilitator, related to trademark registration, everything you have all the details into that IP portal. Then coming down to the market assessment, how to do IP searches is मतलब कोई भी ऐसा मुझे नहीं लगता आजकल स्टूडेंट ऐसा कोई भी होगा, फैकल्टी मेंबर कोई भी होगा जो रिसर्च करेगा और उसके बाद सोचेगा कि मुझे इसको पेटेंट फाइल करना है, ओ आई कैन फाइल अ पेटेंट और नॉट. Before starting your research work, go for a IP search. Whatever you are thinking that you are going to do research on this topic, what is the scope of research in this area? You will have a better idea. So this will tell you how to do IP searches and FTO. FTO is freedom to operate, right? Like I have already told you that whenever you are telling that you are talking about legal rights, you need not to infringe others' right also. So you should be aware. So that is called freedom to operate, where you are having a freedom to operate. If you are not having freedom to operate, then you cannot go into that domain. So these all kind of searches you can do here. Then IP commercialization, how to assign uh, your IP rights to someone else. What should you do? What are the licensing agreement? What should be the requirements for that? All you can get it from here. Then managing IP portfolios like territorial considerations, relevance of restrictive covenants. Then coming down to the advanced level. Advanced level is when you are having a startup, you are having an IP right, you want to commercialize it, or you want to explore your IP rights, you want to make money out of that. So access to funding and venture capital and IP. Now the upcoming webinar of ours is on funding, IP funding opportunities to take startup and MSMEs to the next level. So this will be scheduled on 1st of September, and I will urge all of you to register for that webinar, because you will get to know how much funding opportunities you can avail. Then introduction to standards and standard setting organizations, dealing with disputes, infringement, validity, defenses, arbitration. All these information you can have from this one single portal on one click away from you, and you need not to pay a single penny for all this information. So let me tell you what this consists of. Each module comprises of e-text for understanding concept. There are short animated videos of the concept. Sometimes in the two-dimensional way we are going to tell you right now, but you can understand the easy way from the short animated videos, where your concepts will be cleared comparatively. Links to the additional resources, like I was saying that you can get a full information about the patent filing fees, list of the startup facilitator, list of the trademark registrants. All these are outsourced information. You can have the links for that outsourced information into this IP portal, and that information will be the latest information. Whichever there will be amendments in the fees or in the forms and anything, you will get to know the latest information of all the additional resources. Then there are quizzes and case studies for assessment. This is, I think it is a very good option for the students to learn and to understand. because sometimes I was also a student, and sometimes we were fed up of giving the test. And once our subject teacher said that I'll hold a quiz competition of your whole class, and you will be divided into 4 groups, and that was very interesting for all of us, because we were the feeling like that we are in Cadbury Bonvita quiz contest. So these are like that. You can have a case studies for the assessment and grading the learner's knowledge and understanding of the concept. You will be having a means uh, uh, you will be having a confusion types question, that you have learned everything or you are confused something. If you will not assess that question in the right way, you can go back to that chapter, you can learn more about that lesson, and then you can make your assessment to the 100% or more. You can score in that assessment. Then all the learners who will learn IP rights from this platform through their desktop or mobile app, they will be given a joint e-certificate by SciPAM, NLU Delhi, and Qualcomm after successfully completing the e-learning modules. This team, we are a team. This team is organizing a series of webinars for an outreach of the L2 Pro program for creating awareness on the topics related to intellectual property. Leading experts on the IP from industry, academia, and government will speak at these webinars. So upcoming webinar is on IP funding opportunities to take startups and MSMEs to the next level, scheduled on 1st September 2021 from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. This is the link where you can register for this webinar. And let me tell you, there are a lot of renowned speakers in this webinar. You'll get to know funding opportunities for life sciences, biotechnology, healthcare sector, everything what we were having. Additionally, you will be having a funding support from Ministry of Information and Electronics. Then you will be having some startups who will be you can learn about them after the webinar. They are top Asia's top 30. They are in they are only, I think, 4 to 5 years old. 2018 they had started, and they are into the Asia's top 30. How they had carried out their journey from a startup to Asia's 30 super 30. So that will be an interesting learning for all of you. How to sign in? Now you must be having a thought in your mind how I can access this L2 Pro IP learning portal. So this is basically this kind of portal is having levels certificate. You can be given pieces, not there. It is free of cost. So this is the IP portal, IP learning portal, l2proindia.com, or you can download it as L2 Pro app, L2 Pro India, which is you can download it from Play Store as well as iOS. So this is my screenshot when I am having a account with them, and I have saved my credentials on my computer system. So it will automatically give you a sign in option. Your username will be displayed, your password will be displayed. You can click on sign in and you can access the IP portal. But if you are a new registrant here and you have to sign up, then you have to fill all these details into it related to your name, mobile number, occupation, organization, designation. So here I have filled all these details, like my organization is SOCHAM, but I have created another ID just to show this. So IP professional, then agree to the terms of services, and I'm not a robot. Then you will sign up. Click here. Then you will there will be a pop-up message. You have registered successfully. An email is sent to you from L2 Pro India. You need to follow the instruction in the email to verify and activate your account. In case you have not received mail in your inbox, please check your spam folder. So then what comes after that? You need to check your inbox. Then there will be email regarding this verification mail to complete registration. Then you will open this email. Then you have a click here to verify email. You will click here, and then your account has been activated successfully. Signing. So you can then sign in to the system. You can have a, this will be the platform when you will enter into the L2 Pro India, your interface, user interface. So it will be like this, welcome Bhavna. So you have to assess the courses from here, or you are, if you are having some problem, you can give your feedback from here. So this is a kind of interface, user interface, basic module having 4 lessons, intermediate course having 4 lessons, advanced courses having 3 lessons. So these are the screenshots from some of the videos. This is an introductory video, like a patent granted in India is valid only in India. So this is a brain teaser. You have a brief introduction about the IP rights. Now you had to tell me that, can you tell which one of the following does not qualify for IP protection? You have to tick from here. So these are the type of IP rights. Various types of IP rights are there, like copyrights and related rights. And then industrial property consists of industrial designs, patent, trademarks, service marks, trade secrets, geographical indications, layout designs of semiconductors, plant varieties, and farmers' rights. So this is the patent procedure in India. Someone was asking from you, from me, sorry. So this is the patent filing procedure, filing of a patent application. If you are filing only for your idea with provisional specification, you can file, and then you had to file a complete specification within 12 months. Then that will be subjected to publication, and then anyone can file a pre-grant opposition, and then it will be examined on your request for examination. Then FER will be issued. FER is first examination report. So this is the all patent procedure in India, which is there in L2 Pro India portal. You can have all this information from here. This is a PCT filing procedure. Patent Cooperation Treaty. If you want to go for international filing, this whole of the procedure is here into this system. You can get all the information from this system. So these are the some of the details about the outsource information. Patent fee, you click here, this is a link, you click here, you will get all the information related to patent fee. Patent facilitator, you will click here, you will get all the information. Trademark facilitator, SIPP scheme, if you want to, you are a startup, you need facilitation for your protection of your IP rights. So SIPP scheme, you can click here and you can have a startup facilitator list here. So these are another screenshots. Then you will complete one lesson. There will be a summary video. Summary video means all that you have learned will be summed up into one video and you can revise from there. So when you will complete this, like I have seen attached a screenshot here, basic course. When you will complete this course and you will complete the assessment for the module, you will pass that assessment, you will have to get a good score into that. Then there will be a link generated download certificate. Now you can click on this download certificate and you will be having a certificate like this. So this is our team, our ASSOCHAM IPFC team. So you can contact any of us related to any inquiry. Thank you for the patient listening, and I conclude my session here. Over to you, Dwarka.
Thank you, Bhavna ma'am. I hope everyone would register in the training program. And now we would like to invite Ms. Jyoti Chauhan. She is the Chief Manager of IPR Gujarat Fluorochemicals Limited, Deputy President of CIMSCM, Patents and Trademark Agent, Felicitator cum Consultant, IPR Mentor, Knowledge Partner, and Startup and MSc Universities, and an IPR speaker. She focuses on the area of IP rights, patents, trademarks, and industrial designs. Ms. Jyoti holds master degree in organic chemistry, and she has done many certificate programs in IPR and patents. She has almost 12 years of experience in every domain in patents, patent searching, patentability, FTOs, and including claim chart analysis, infringement analysis. and invalidity studies, patent landscaping, white space, patent prosecution, and she's having an expertise in conducting patent searching with Thomas Innovations, Micropat, STN, and with WIPO, USPTO databases, etc. She has rich experience in patent drafting of provisional complete specification in all areas of science and technology. Ms. Jyoti has been awarded as top 100 women in IPR by WIPR, Nari Shakti Puraskar, Young Women Achiever in IPR Patents, Women of Excellence, Women Achiever Award, etc., and has received many awards for excellence in IPR by many government, private, and global organization bodies. She has also written many articles for international magazines like Montic, Lexology, IP Leaders. She has expertise in handling complex patent portfolio. She also has experience in assisting R&D scientists in finding area of research, maintaining competitors' patent watch, patent portfolio management, and maintaining patent and design monitoring sheet, as well as tracking on internal IPR filing, decision on patent applications. She has also presented many seminars, conferences, and an eminent speaker in creating awareness programs and trainings in IPR conducted by IPO, DIP, such as Rajiv Gandhi National Intellectual Property Management Training Program as well. She's also been a speaker at numerous universities like Delhi University, NDU Rohtak, and GBU, and other events conducted by PhD Chamber of Commerce and ASSOCHAM and CS. We welcome you, ma'am.
Thanks, Maka. Thanks for nice introduction. So, hi everyone. So, I have to tell all the participants about the prospects of IP and IPR as a career option. So, as Rajesh sir and Bhavna has also done a great job in this field, and she has explained very good things in IP, that what IPR covers. It's not like only about patent, but it covers trademark, copyright, patents, and plant protection varieties, integrated circuit. So IP is a tree which has many much branches. It's a multidisciplinary field. So there are lots of opportunities in IPR. It is a ocean which has numerous prospects for students as in career options. And I receive lot of calls from students of many universities. So this is my interaction with lovely professional university students. So I want to say that there is no limit and sky is the limit. So there is so much opportunities in this field. There are you can become a patent agent after clarifying this exam. There is a patent agent examination conducted by Indian Patent Office, so that you can clear. Then you can also become a trademark agent by clearing the trademark agent examination. And you if you want to pursue law, so you can also become IP lawyer, or you can become a trademark attorney. By this law degree, you can become a copyright lawyer. So in this IPR, you need to see that in which area your interest is there. If you are comfortable in making searches, patent searches, so you can become an analytics field. Like my passion is towards in searches like FTO searches. As Bhavna explained, there are many searches, because in research field and innovators in many pharmaceutical company, they just come to me and they say that is my invention patentable or not. So I check the novelty of that aspects. Is it obvious or not? So, and not only in the company, when I was working with the law firms, like I have worked in Lax Service, Effectual Legal Services. So many MNCs were coming who were our client. So they just want to check that is it patentable or not. Or we support R&D, as I have worked in many R&Ds. So I've worked in GSK Pharmaceuticals, I've worked in Minda Industries, I've worked in Maruti for some time. Then I am currently in Gujarat Fluorochemicals Limited. So R&D inventors comes to me and they want to know that they want a guidance in which area they can make the research. So I only guide them by making different type of searches like patent landscaping, technology landscaping, and I tell them this is the white space analysis. This is the area where you can enter and you can make out research. So that if you're interested in making searches, you can become a patent analytics, and you can choose that you are a patent analyst. So that type of option, career option, is open for you. if you do not clear that exam, patent agent exam, trademark agent, but you are skills in making searches and your expertise in conducted those searches, so you can make searches and you can associate with many KPOs in Gurgaon, Delhi. There is eValueServe, and there are many KPOs are there. I was also worked in WNS Global, so you can make those searches, and this is very good field because their cost client paid, foreign client pays you in lakhs. And you can also, if you don't want to associate with a full-time job like in that is a searching in-house company, so you can also do it by freelancing. So there are in market, IPR is a field which is growing so fastly. Like many freelancers are working in this field and they are earning in lakhs through their contacts and these type of searches project. One landscape carrying for one landscape, they charges in lakhs, and the people and the clients pays them by happiness. So there is one profession. Then in IP, you can pursue courses, as Bhavna has told, that L2 Pro is a good option. So that is an interesting one because it is free of cost. And other courses you can also conduct by like CPAM, National Law University, WIPO is the thing, World Intellectual Property Organization. So that they also conduct many courses, like FICCI also conduct courses, Law Seco. Then universities, there are many universities which conduct only the IP courses for their students, along with the BTech degree and other. So this is a part of curriculum now. So you can also do many courses on IPR to start with. There are many online courses nowadays which you can explore, and you can do it by your mobile, by laptops, by sitting at home. So this valuable information you can do, and it becomes your passion because it is related. If you enter into patents, so daily inventions are there, so you will your passion would be related to invention, what type of inventions are coming there nowadays, so you can choose that field. Another thing, if you are passionate about the legal part, litigation type of work is there, so you can become a litigator. Patent litigation case are there, infringement suits are there, so you become a IP lawyer. You can choose a litigation field where the your passion is like, I want to fight cases for lawyer. I am a lawyer, so I can do that, choose that field. Third is, if you are expert, your passion is like in story writing, and you want to write a paragraph or like thing. So in our IP, there is a drafting type of thing. So you can become a drafter. Like patent, when the patent is filed, before that we have to write in a pattern. So that format is called patent drafting. So you can draft a patent document, and if you have that expertise in that, like first part in patent prosecution is how the drafting of claims are there, patents is how it is written. So you can be a patent drafter in that field. Then the filing and prosecution, if you are good in filing the how the queries are coming from the Indian Patent Office, like FER Bhavna mentioned. So this is the first examination report. So we have to respond, like after filing a patent, there a first examination report is issued. So how we respond it, so few person are expertise in that, so they become the prosecutor, so they respond the FAR queries. So prosecution type is specialized. When I was in working in a law firm, so there we have different specialties according to our interest. I was expert in searching field, so I was leading a searching team. Someone was good in prosecution, so he was handling the prosecution for trademark, copyright, patents. And another person who was expert in law cases, so he was in litigation expert. And the another domain is in teaching and the awareness and training. If you are curious about in faculty type of field, so you can become a faculty in a university. So many popular universities hire as a may hire you as a faculty people, where you will be because the IPR is a part of curriculum, so you can become a IP faculty, and you can teach the student about the lectures on IP only. So that type of profession is there. You can become a part of trainer, many spreading awareness programs. So these are conducted by CPAM, SOCAM, FICCI, and many bodies like universities. So you can also become part of this nation building part, that you can make people aware about the IP. And you can also become a trainer, teacher in IP field. Next is the technology assessment part and the marketing field. So you can evaluate the technology and how the type this marketing helps. So you can do this. Then another part is like SOCAM is also doing the policy building, IP policy building, research, philosophy, and advocacy field. So you can, if you passion in that field, like you are interested in making policy field, so you can also contribute in that field in IP. And you also, there is a field like I was writing few articles. So the article writing is also give you money. Like you can start blogging, you can start articles, you can submit your article in many magazines and online articles these days. So that is also a area. So IP is in nowadays, like Modi government has come, so IP policies are coming for many startups are giving many provisions, many facilities these days. Startups are there, MSMEs are there, universities are there, individual innovators comes to you. So I receive lots of calls daily for many queries related to patent, copyright, and trademarks, that how we can handle it. So my many friends are sitting at home who earns in lakhs because of this field, because they know the queries answers, that what to answer, and they are working in this field. So this is a very nice field as I feel, and I'm very happy that and blessed with that I'm this field, and I'm enjoying my field that I'm in through correct field. Although I have done B.Ed, I have done Bachelor of Library and Information Science, PGDCA, but since I entered into this field, so I'm satisfied that I'm into good field. So you have lots of job in this field, like MNCs you can hire you if you are a good if you are having a good knowledge in IP. So MNCs like GSK Pharmaceutical, Minda Industries, and Dabur, Tata Steel, all have opened their in-house. So they have a big in-house IP team in which they hire you as a IP person. You are an IP professional. Like many semi-government organizations are there, so they have also opened their IP. Many government organizations like CSIR have filed many patent. Indian Oil, Bharat Petroleum, and other big MNCs like Samsung, United Hindustan Lever, other companies, they have also started filing many patents these days. And even the universities are also doing like in-house IP. They have opening IP cell. They are people are working as IP coordinator. If you don't find anything, so you can join as an IP coordinator into many organizations, and like SOCAM, FICCI, and other or these organizations are also having IP persons, IP coordinators, and people are working in spreading awareness. So you can join it as, because they are also paying good. So you can become a part of that as an IP coordinator in FICCI, NRDC, TIFAC, PhD Chambers of Commerce, then CPAM. So even at patent office, you can join as a patent examiner if you qualify the exam. And patent office, they provide job, and many IPO have branches. In law firm, you can work as an IP lawyer, then you can work there also. So there are lots of opportunities in IP field. Yeah, so you would enjoy this field. So I wish you all the best to all everyone.
Thank you, Bhavna ma'am. And thank you, Jyoti ma'am. So, sorry, Jyoti ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay, now we would like to continue the session with the obviousness topic. I would like to discuss regarding the obviousness topic. So like as previously Rajesh sir and Ajay sir, they mentioned that the criteria of the patent are based on the novelty, non-obviousness, and the industrial application. So let me share my screen. Keith, I'm unable to find the share screen option.
Please give her the sharing guides.
I think it is not enabled for me.
The host will give it to you, ma'am. Yes, Palvi, please give her the sharing guides.
Okay. Meanwhile, let's discuss about the obviousness. Okay, obviousness is what? Like, for example, we have an idea and you want to get it patented. So what you would do is you come up with your invention and you go look across the existing prior arts on all over the world, whether it's a research paper or a newspaper article or any kind of journal, magazine, or any content anywhere. And what we would do is we would compare our idea existing with the existing prototype, that is called existing prior art. So upon comparing, one should determine that while you're comparing the obviousness, it should not be very much similar to your closest prior art. It's because what is obviousness? Obviousness is like something which you should not be able to come across immediately. Thank you, sir. I've got
Sorry
that.
to interrupt. You can share your screen now.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Please keep it in full screen mode.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so this is the criteria of the patent which we have been talking about. And now, as you can see, the most important thing is the inventive step, which is about the non-obviousness. So if one is about to file a patent, he or she should not be, attracting these kind of objections from the patent office, that there is a lack of novelty, there is a lack of inventive step. And also you should make sure that your invention is not obvious. What is the meaning of not obvious? Mean it should not be known to the person skilled in the particular art. So this is a definition for which we will go across in the Patent Act, where as per section 21J, the invention means it's a new product or a process involving an inventive step, and it is also capable of industrial application. What is the inventive step? Inventive step is a feature where the invention has a technical advancement as compared to the existing prior knowledge or prior art, and it also should have an economic significance, and it should not be obvious to the person skilled in the art. So obvious in the sense, let me make it an example. Suppose there is an applicant, they make a patent application in the field of invention F, and they have a primary or the main features of ABCD. Okay, so I, being a person skilled in the art of F, or I have knowledge in the F field, so I get motivated and I come up with my ordinary skills of developing a invention with the same combination of A, B, C, and D. So now, am I having anything inventive or anything technically advanced compared to the existing? But there is a lack of inventive step in this. Whereas if I can able to show that combining A, B, C, D, F, I have come across an invention which is resulting in a new kind of solution to the existing problem. And there, in that place, I can show that my invention is superior and it has a technical advancement over the existing prior art. And it is not just a simple invention, but I'm bringing a cost-effective invention. Because when you take an invention, you cannot just make an invention which is like a very huge, tremendous one, and you can say that it is affordable to people. You should make an invention which is saleable in the market. So where it will attract the customers and it will attract the people in the market, and it should also be contributing to the technical advancement in your particular field. So in that case, if you have invented A plus B plus C plus C, okay, and then you know that A is in the prior art, B is in the prior art. So how you will determine the obviousness? So here what you will say is, if someone skilled in that particular field, they already know that A plus B plus C is equal to so and so, then it is obvious. But if you can show A plus B plus C is equal to 1 or A plus B plus C is equal to infinity, then you come up with a new solution. So there is no obviousness. So if the answer is no, that it is already known or not, and you recheck yourself and you come across, then you will know whether it is obvious or not. And definitely there should be an economic significance, because anybody wants an invention to be reaching the public. We make invention to reach the public. So when I prepare a invention or a prototype, I should make sure that I do a proper research. My background research should be clear, and I should also know whether I can reach the people. It is useful for the people, because as already they have mentioned earlier, that the patent exclusive right is for the year 20 years. Afterwards, it's going to be in a public domain. So now when you have your exclusive right, and if you make an invention with novelty and non-obviousness, there lies your exclusive right, which you can apply, and you can give it in the transfer of right to an assignee or a licensor, or there are so many other ways of cross licensing. So these are the technology transfer matters where you will get your own royalties. You will have so many other ways of making this invention into the market. So another thing, like what I would say is that you should ask your question that, okay, I'm going to prepare an invention, and if I prepare this invention, is there any difference between my invention and the prior art? Is it like, if I make this, is it going to get me a patent awarded? So you have to judge your own invention. The more you judge your own invention, it's going to not attract the objections from the examination side. Because once you file a patent and upon processing an examination report, the objection will be raised based on your novelty, your non-obviousness, and non-patentability. Because the examiner and the IPO will be conducting the searches based on these three criteria only. So what are the three criteria? Like, this is based on the section 3, which is also the main and the most important thing where one should concentrate. Like, if you could see here, there are various sections which is given, and all these sections are considered to be what are not patentable, what are not inventions. So these are the sections along with what non-business and novelty and the non-patentability comes under section 3. Section 3 is a non-patentability clause. So if your invention falls across in any of these sections, then your invention is not patentable. So one should also ensure that when they are doing the obviousness check, they should also check whether the invention lies in the non-patentability clause. So how is obviousness being considered? Because this is one of the most very complicated thing in the whole IPR for the patents, where I or anybody would have the doubts to determine the obviousness of a particular invention. So obviousness means the research should not be predictable by the person skilled in the art. It should be unpredictable. Like, as for you all know, the telephone invention, it was unpredictable. So there was no obviousness. It was a non-obviousness. So in that way, you have to determine the obviousness. So this is how is one of the way, a structure to determine the obviousness. You have to first identify an ordinary person skilled in the art. That is the person who's skilled in the particular field. Then you have to identify your inventive concept in the particular patent or in your idea. Then you have to know that whether this is falling into the common knowledge before the date of filing, because the date of filing is your date of priority. So you should make sure that this is not available in the public domain or in the common knowledge, because why would anybody want to patent an invention which is in the common knowledge? Or being a consumer yourself, will you be able to think of buying something or going and getting anything from a market which is already known to you? Because there you would be like, okay, I know this can be made in this, why I should spend my money, go and buy this? So that is the reason why obviousness need to be considered as an important factor. Because for your market purpose, as Bhavna ma'am was speaking about, one should also concentrate on the market research. You should consider your market research because a patent should be commercialized. Without commercialization, you cannot understand even that a patent will be processed or not. Because if you know, as per the Indian Patents Act, Section 84, if your patent is granted and within 3 years of the date of granting, you are not going to give it transfer to somebody or something, then for exclusive rights, your transfer for assignment, licensing, or any other thing, then anybody, any interested person can obtain for the compulsory licensing, and they can go ahead for marketing their product. They can produce and they can go ahead. This has to be applied to the particular controller, and once the controller approves based on 3 different criteria, that it is not operated in the territorial, and it is highly expensive, not applicable to the public, and it is remaining as inactive. So these all the things will be considered, and based on these main things, 2 points is necessary. So you should make your patent which you should be able to give to the public. It should be reaching the people, and it has to be used, because if tomorrow, if you make an invention, you keep it yourself, there is no way you're gaining anything, but you're just holding an invention which is against the IPR laws. So you have to prepare where it is having a usefulness to everybody, and it's also on the obviousness should be careful, because as long as your patent is having novelty, the equal importance should be given to the obviousness as well as the inventive step. And now we would go upon what is a person who's skilled in the art. Everybody would have the same question, like, what is a person skilled in the art? Skilled in the art is like anybody, like for example, as you students are there, let's consider like in the field of electronics. Anybody in the field of electronics would know about any particular sensor working along with a microcontroller, and this is how the data has been operated, how it is communicated through a cloud server or through Wi-Fi or through any method. So this is a very simple. So you just cannot say that, okay, I'm taking a temperature measurement sensor, and my temperature sensor is taken, and I'm keeping my motion sensor, and then I'm connecting to my microcontroller, and then I'm coming up by my readings, and I'm saying, okay, this is my image. You should show that. This becomes a very obvious, because anybody from the electronics field will know this is already working. So where is novelty? Where is the non-obviousness? So you should conceal the obviousness. So that is the reason why we have to determine and find out how to conceal the obviousness and bring out the non-obviousness. And there are many cases where there is a lack of inventive step. The patents are being, having valid ground for rejection. They are being revoked also under the section. In the period of your examination to your granting, anybody can file an opposition stating that your invention is not having the inventive step, and this opposition may get your patent granted or may not get granted. And after your patent is granted, within 1 month, any interested person can file a post-grant opposition under section 25(2), and the same reason of lack of inventive step, and the same way, if the person is able to justify there is a lack of inventive step, then your patent is not being able to carry and it will be revoked. So these are the things which you have to be careful enough to concentrate on the non-obviousness, because this is a major important element of the patenting. Now let's go for one of the important case study. So this is one of the important case study where this whole improvement on the method of holding utensils was being manufactured and patented and being processed. So another person, Mr. Vishwanath Ramprasad, he took this invention without the consent of the particular Hindustan Metals, and he processed for, he started using it. So what happened was there was a ground of rejection, and then what happened was the Hindustan Metals filed a suit against him, saying that it is for infringement. So Ram Prasad Sade was a defendant and he filed another suit saying that this patent is not valid because it is obvious. Why? Because it was obvious is this machine is just an old invention. It is just scraping and turning the utensils, which is already known traditionally for a very long time. So a mere workshop improvement is not considered to be a patented. So one should be very careful enough not to just consider a mere workshop as a improvement or a modification to get a patented, and you should have a concealed obviousness. So the way you are projecting your patent, the way you are disclosing it, it matters everywhere, because a patent is a long felt need. It is not just a temporary solution, because for 20 years you're going to hold your exclusive right. So for these 20 years, you are going to have a proper working invention. So there you have to see a commercial success also in these 20 years. So just an improvement cannot be considered as a patent, right? So you have to have a long-standing solution for a problem. So we would say that anything which is, it should have an unpredictability solution, solution, or unpredictable components which merge together, or like, a known component merging together, and you're coming up with a solution. Or you can even say that there is a mathematical formula, or there is a mathematical problem which is there for almost 2 years or 3 years or 100 years or 50 years and nobody is able to solve. Suddenly you come up with a solution for that particular problem. There lies the non-obviousness, because nobody was aware of that problem. So this is how you should know that how to check your non-obviousness and the inventive step. So what we should do is we should do a proper research, a proper searching of the prior art, and you should compare your invention, your idea, with the proper prior art, and with the closest prior art you should match your features, and you should see that how it is technically advanced. What is the inventive step you have? What is the non-obviousness you could quote? So this is how we would process on the obviousness and non-obviousness features. So, and there was another thing also, case law. This is also related to the invention of inventive step and non-obviousness. As we are running short of the time, so let me just wind up with this. And thank you.
I think we can now take up the questions.
Yes,
We
ma'am.
request all the audience to please type their questions in the chat box.
Some questions were popped out in my personal window, so I'll answer one question. Someone has asked me that can we have a patent on the generic product, and can we commercialize it? Can we make the for some pharma student? First of all, any kind of drug or product, drug delivery, dosage system, or anything, first of all, it is patented. Once a company launch a product, develop a drug, first it comes with their label only. It becomes generic when the patent expires, only then. So generic comes after the patent expires only. So you can manufacture and sell generic medicines as government has also allowed Jan Aushadhi Kendra. Jan Aushadhi Kendra is only that. You are having generic medicines over there in a very, very, very cheap rates, like only 10 to 20% you are paying as per the branded product. So this is the basic difference. And one was the question, I think Jyoti ma'am is much more experienced into IP sector and she should answer that question. Ma'am, it was related to, let me check for that question.
It's as being a pharmacist student, we can go for the examination like in IP sector, and how can we secure and get the job in IP?
Yes.
Ma'am, please.
Jyoti ma'am, would you enlighten the students about that, please? Anyone other? So, as I am from pharma background, so let me answer this query. You can, if you want to become a patent agent, you can qualify the patent agent examination. You can have a patent knowledge of Indian Patent Act and various other um, activities related to patent, like Jyoti ma'am was talking about patentability search, freedom to operate search, invalidity search. You should be having all this knowledge, and you should be having a knowledge of patent drafting, which is much more important. Anything to be claimed, it is having a boundary. Like we are having a property like car or like a house. This is under some boundary. So a patented application is having the boundary within their claims. So whatever claims you have written in your patent application, your rights are up to them only. I can give you some examples related to that. I have worked with a funding agency previously, where all the applications or research proposals comes for funding. So we used to give funds uh, after checking their patentability criteria. So there was a patent application, there was a research proposal which they were saying that they are making a different dosage form of trastuzumab. Trastuzumab is a monoclonal antibody which is against HER2 antibodies, HER2 antigens. So they were claiming that they have invented a slow releasing dosage form out of that. And then when I had carried out patent search related to that claims, I was having a number of patent application, and only one was the owner of all that patent application. They have just changed. Sorry. They have just changed their
दे दिया ना भावना ने आंसर दे दिया
they have just changed the dosage quantity, and they have made different patent applications out of one single invention. So these are the intricacies involved. If you can learn about all these intricacies, then you can join any IP firm, any law firm, any KPO as IP expert. I think I have answered that question. Over to you, Dwarka.
Hello. Yes,
I
ma'am.
see there's another question in the chat box. If opting to patent an idea and its approval makes it available to public, doesn't it make it risky? Say a weapon's detailed design is patented, doesn't it risk the stealing of this design as now it's public and not caring about infringement laws? Or are these top secrets patented and guarded behind a corporate name, making it privatized? We request the panelists to take up this question.
Actually, as per the patent law, a weapon detail design is this, the person has to be clear what weapon they want to design, because these are as per the section 3. If you can see the weapon, anything harmful or hazardous, okay, they are not allowed to be patented. And also as per section 4, any atomic or anything energy related are not patented. So the person has to be clear what they want to patent. And the question was, like, they say the weapon related design is patented, doesn't it risky in stealing the design? Because right now it is not that there are top secrets patented. Yes, they are on the secrecy, but this question is for we cannot comment on this particular question right now, because this is about a different kind of a patent thing based on the students. So on infrastructure of
Actually, he wants to ask that can I get a patent on idea? Isn't it risky? Should I explain that to them? Yeah. Okay. Actually, you can file for a provisional application for an idea. Sometimes it happens with the software engineers and IT professionals. They have some ideas that oh, infrared can detect this and that from heat, or they can go for CCTV cameras में कुछ करके वो चीजें होती है ना, like that kind of innovation. So they can file for provisional application for that patent application. But your patent application will be published only when you will file for complete application, and you have a grace period of 12 months from provisional to complete filing. So you can work for your invention within that 12 months, and you can come up with the foolproof claims for your invention, and then you can protect it. Only that part of claims will be, or your patent application will be published, and then you have already secured your priority. If anyone used to steal anyone your invention, so you can claim the infringement claims over there. And if you have filed a patent application and it gets published, your infringement rights, I mean economical value, whatever they were asking now in the design and all, your infringement claims economical value will be counted from the date of publication itself. Means they have seen your published patent application from the Indian Patent Office website, and then they have infringed your rights. And whenever you will have a grant of that patent application, only then you can claim that infringement suits, not before that. Thank you.
We have another question. When any governmental organization and person from private organization at the same time applies for patent registration, to whom patent is granted, or when governmental organization and private person applies for the patent at the same time of the same kind, to whom the patent is granted?
Should I take up this question?
Yes, ma'am, please.
See, patent office, it doesn't matter to patent office that any government organization is applying for the patent application or private person. Every time you file a patent application, the date as well as the time is being recorded over there by a database. So whosoever will be filing for the first for that single same innovation, that will be the first innovator that becomes the priority holder, and that person will be having the rights, whosoever he or she is, government organization or private person.
Thank you, ma'am. And I think we've already extended the session. So
One
if
question
any
is
more,
there: how we get a trademark for our company and how much time it will take? You will have to register your trademark. You will have to take help of the registered trademark attorney, and they will design the trademark for your company, and you can register that trademark with the trademark office. Time taken can be from 2-3 months to the years, depending upon the mark you are having.
Can I answer this question if you don't mind?
yes, sir, please.
Yeah, so there are two questions I could able to notice. Yeah, one about the trademark prosecution and the timeline. The process, if you don't have any objection for your application, the process can be completed in 6 months. There is a mandatory publication period of 3 months plus 1 month's grace period, 4 months. During that period, if no one opposes, you will get the registration within 6 months time. In case if if any objection or opposition, the process may prolong for 12 months, 18 months, or 24 months, or it may more than that. So if you choose a right mark, you don't have any objection, you can get the registration in 6 months. And I've seen another question like what is collective mark and difference between collective mark and the geo indication. See, in Trademark Act, there are 45 different categories. Each product or service falls under different categories. Like class 1 to 34, it is for goods. In the sense, if you are producing any products and if you're selling with a brand, each product, like if it is a chemical, class number 1, if it is paint, class 2, 3 for cosmetics. Likewise, each product classified by the registry, specific class wise. So whatever class you register, you have rights for that specific category, like service for class 35 to 45 for service industry. Like example, 35 for advertising, marketing or retail outlet, 44 for hospital services. So when you have a brand, like if you are choosing, if you are a garment manufacturer, so for a garment manufacturer, there are 4-5 categories are important for them. Like example, Myntra, they have mobile application, so register in class 9, and they have a branded garments comes under class 25. If it is textile, class 24, and retail outlet or e-commerce platform comes under 35. So they will make an application in all these categories. So there is an application provision in the trademark like 99, collective mark application. In one application, you classify all the categories. But however, if the brand is not stronger, we don't suggest, because if one application have an objection, it affects other 4 application also. It is always we suggest client to file a single application, not a collective mark. If your mark is so strong, you have already registration without any objection, then it is advisable to go for collective mark application. And another question I found, like the idea can be patented. Idea person, like Uber is an idea of connecting a passenger and the cab driver. It's an idea. The idea is not protected. If it's so, Ola would have not entered into the market. Similarly, like Alibaba is an idea for connecting a buyer as well as a seller. If the idea of protected, that Big Baskets or Amazon would have not entered into the market. What they protected, the platform what they created. So per se, idea cannot be protected under Patent Act. And yeah, GI already explained. GI is for a product which is popular with the place. Hope I clarified. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Rajesh sir, and thank you, Bhavna ma'am. We would like to conclude the session. We are really happy. Thank you so much for the valuable guidance and suggestions regarding the IPR and other related IPRs, intellectual properties and other related laws. And now we would like the students to please download the L2 Pro application and kindly register. Really great if all of you could take advantage of this L2 Pro initiative, as it is free of cost, and also you would be awarded with a certificate from the government of Kuala Lumpur and NLU Delhi, which is issued to each and every student as how you are concluding with your registration and upon finishing the course. And we would like to also thank to the resource people and the panelist members who have given the valuable knowledge and shared their experience on the IPR and IP related. We are really thankful, and it was really a wonderful session. Thank you, everyone. And now I would request to please turn on your cameras, if possible, for a picture so that we could take a screenshot of this.
I'm sorry, I couldn't find the option of turning on the camera here. Can you guide me or help me out?
Oh, I think that is disabled still for us.
I think
Alright.
we need disabled for this.
Okay, it's okay, sir. No problem, ma'am. Thank you.
We can have this screenshot.
Yes, ma'am. We can have this generous.